Good afternoon. This is Paula Ward, aka 22Fit Mama, going live. First time from my computer. We'll see how it goes. I'm used to doing it on my phone and everything else, so hopefully the sound is good. I don't have my headphones in, but because I don't know how to do that for her. But anyways, this is episode 8. I wanted to talk about this next chapter. It's very relevant to me because it has to do with kids and sports and using losing as an experience. She talked in this chapter about nowadays sports is hugely competitive. I remember back in my day, we didn't play a club. We didn't play, we had what they now call rec or town ball or town's baseball, town softball, town soccer. And we also played for the schools. And it was very exciting to play for the middle schools teams at this age. And there wasn't where we played, and it was competitive, 12 games in a weekend. And we played sports because we liked it. Fun. And for me, when it stopped becoming fun is when I chose a sport that was more for my personality, which happened to be ice skating. I didn't enjoy being yelled at by the coach. I really didn't enjoy running, let's be honest. But I ended up stopping soccer in high school because I wanted a more individual sport. Basically, she talked about how parents are now tormenting the teachers because their kids aren't getting good grades. Because now, even in middle school, it's now impacting, will they get a college scholarship? Will they, get into the school? Will they make the college team they want? And it's crazy. It's not our teachers' fault that our kids aren't getting good grades. It's our kids, and sometimes overscheduling our kids. I have to think about that as it gets into, for us, May is the worst sport for that, because there are some days where we are going every day to sports and everything. Basically, why can't sports be the place to learn how to fail? I think that we as parents, some of us, I have been a victim of this, that, you want your kids to win all the time, and when you don't, you blame the refs, you blame the coaches, you blame everything else, instead of, like I tell my son, yeah, you lost today, but what was the good things that came out of your game? What did you learn during this sporting event? We had one game last year, and I will never forget it. It was probably the best game we had. We played, and I'm so excited we're playing again this year. There's a group up in Lawrence called Perfect Swing, and we played this team, and it was probably the most fun we had. The kids were joking with each other. The coaches were joking with each other. People appreciated when they had hit home runs off each other, and we beat them. And it advanced us to the next final. But what happened afterwards is we sat down with the other team, we shared pizza with them, and it became not so much about the competition, but more about the sportsmanship. And that's really what I want my kids to learn. Not that, they went into that and they won, but the experience they had. Like, did you go into the game and you're almost killing the other team? The boys are almost beating each other up. And instead of remembering that game, it's a game where you came together with a team from a totally different kind of social background than you, and you guys connected and you had fun. I mean, that game was fun. The parents had fun. The kids had fun. And, we kind of forget that when we get into competition. Basically, we need to remember that courage can sometimes look like failure. She was talking about her daughter going into the softball cages for the first time and thinking she was going to hit from a coach and learning to pitch from a pitching machine, which is totally faster, and that she was crying, and that really that wasn't her feeling failure. It was just frustration, and that to kind of look at that and build on that and get them to go back in and try again and figure out, what didn't work, timing and stuff like that. Let's see here. Like I said, talk about appreciating other teams you're playing, appreciating the refs, even if they make bad calls. Like I keep telling my husband, these refs are like us. They get paid to do this. They're doing their best, and we need to leave them alone. Some of them do make bad calls, but in the end, it's only a game. And sometimes when we play it, it's only a rec game. And these kids are out there playing, and they get to play one more game that weekend because they made it into the finals. And we need to enjoy that. We get to spend one more time sitting with our friends and our parents. And just enjoying the sport of the game, and we do forget about that when it gets very competitive. Let's see. So for me, this is very huge. It talked about kids coming home and how the biggest upset about driving home after a game is the parent that they go home with. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative. They actually found out that kids actually enjoy going home with their grandparents more than their actual parents, because some kids are yelled at, they did this wrong, they did that wrong. Maybe the parents complaining about the coach, the refs, God only knows what. But when the kids go home with the grandparents, those grandparents are there just to love them, glad to spend that time with them. And, you know, sometimes as parents, we forget that, and that we need to try to be grandparents more than parents. So I got sick of my son getting in the car after games last year and being depressed and angry all the time. So it came to the point where, and I started doing with this friend, that you're not going to get in this car unless you tell me 3 things you did good about that game. Bring in the positive, get rid of the negative, and then when we think about things we can improve on, you just have a better outlook on that. And that's something I've done with his friends now. And she's also talking about failure in talking in the car. And I find I have some of the most interesting conversations with the kids in the car. Sorry. Sorry, my phone rang. Basically, that's when your kids want to talk. They want to talk about the games, how things went, and we need to use that term. Some guidelines for being a parent. I thought this was really important, to be the parent, not the coach. That's what you pay them for. You're there to love and support them, good or bad. You can talk with a coach on ways to prove your child's effort, but don't talk about playing time or other stuff like that. Never badmouth the coach. I've been in trouble with that, but and it's more out of frustration, Everybody has their own style, and like I said, you're going to have coaches you like, coaches you don't, and you learn from them, and you take what was good and what was bad and move on. And the other thing is, do not have your child live out your athletic dreams, be it you were a star athlete, now you want your kids to be that, or maybe you weren't the star athlete and you want them to be that. Just enjoy the time you spend with the kids. There's only so much time, and why have that be a horrible time? It's for us, baseball. I realize why I'm starting to like baseball more. I'm outside. It's springtime. I'm getting a tan because I'm pale. I'm with my friends. I'm sitting out with my kids and enjoy that. Sometimes you don't have that as much. It's one thing I do like about baseball. Some sports, it's quick, it's fast. You drop them off, you drop them here. We're at the baseball field for sometimes 2 hours, and I get to spend time with Moira while Peter's playing. She doesn't appreciate that. She will someday, but basically use that as a time to spend with your family. My parents come, my sisters come, the kids come, and we might miss that had we not had these sports together. So I hope this helps. The only thing I kind of didn't agree with in this chapter was the fact that, and I understand her point, was that when kids want to quit, to let them. Why torment a coach to try to find playing time for a kid that doesn't want to be there? I don't quite get that. For my kids, they committed to something, and it's usually for a short period of time. It's not usually for a huge period of time like some sports. But for me, I make them finish till the end, and it depends. I have let them quit stuff before because they did not like it and it wasn't worth it. My daughter, if given the option, she quit every week. I will make them go out the season. They need to at least show up and cheer on their team and be present. But at the end of the season, I will let them end it if it's not something they want. It doesn't have to be. Moira's done gymnastics. She's great at it. Decided to quit. But I made her finish out the time I paid for, or something like that. So that's the only problem I had. Is she felt that you should just let them quit if they don't like it. And I agree that there needs to be a little bit of a time frame, or maybe like a session or the end of the group, because they did commit. I know they're only young kids, but there was a little bit of commitment in there. They agreed to go, and they didn't like it, but they can finish it out. Sometimes, like I can think of one time my son wanted to quit 2 days before he was done. He ended up playing in a tournament and had the best time and was part of a winning situation, and he would have missed out on that had he given up 2 days before. Sometimes we give up right before we hit that success or that reward that we've been waiting for. So that's my thoughts today. I hope it helped. Thank you guys all for joining me. Debbie, Kayla, Emily, Carol, Shauna, Heather, Desi, and Sarah. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I will put this in my blog, and thank you guys for listening. Feel free to comment on any personal experiences, anything that you might want to add, and thank you for joining me. Have a great day. This is Paula Ward, aka 22 Fit Mama. Thank you guys.